Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ashland Select Board meeting December 6, 2023. Before we get started, I just wanted to ask for a moment of silence in commemoration of the great tragedy that occurred in our town, and our thoughts and prayers and compassion go out to the family and the many members of this community affected. And also wish to thank the first responders for their quality and compassion in these difficult times. So I'd just like to ask for a moment of silence. Thank you all. And also I wish to note the passing of the father of our friend, Mark DeSoni, who's here tonight, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the DeSoni family as well. I do also just want to note that this is a difficult time of year, and Michael reminded me that the town has resources for people, so don't hesitate to reach out and ask for help or to get help on behalf of others if you wish. So I don't know if any other board members wish to say anything. All right, thank you. On another note, on a more positive note, I think it's appropriate to congratulate Ed Berman for being named permanent police chief of the town of Wayland. So congratulations to Ed. I'm not sure how he juggles everything that he does, and so good for Ed. So I think without further ado, I will we'll go into citizens' participation. Do we have anyone here? Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. Thank you for the moment you gave up front there. Mark DeSoni, 49 Hawthorne Road, Ashland, Mass.
Get that out of your way.
Move back a little bit so I can get myself on here. And yes, my dad did pass away on Sunday, the 3rd at 3:55 p.m. with family, people around the bed, and the hospice nurse did the pronouncement. I was the last one to talk to him, to hold his hand, left hand, heart to heart. And once he was pronounced, I sat to the side, and the wheelchair was there, had my brother and sister. They opened up, saw the emotion on their faces. I said my last, so I let them take in the moment. This town is what made the Sonys. I invite everybody to open up the mattereast.com to read the obituary. It's not lengthy. The obituary notice is not lengthy. You're going to see a real young man picture of him. And the visiting hours, I wrote it down because it is public. The visiting hours would be 8:30 in the morning to 10. The Mass at St. Cecilia's 10:30, and the burial is at Wildwood Cemetery. We wouldn't want any other way to be public, because this family that grew up in Ashland, and my father who grew up in Framingham and Ashland, is worth the time to say thank you to him. And now he's back reunited with his wife, Ruth Simpson DeSoni, after 24 years. So I'm saying in public, mattereast.com, thank you for the obituary notice. I myself was taking care of him for 9 years with the hospice people, nurses, everybody, all the medical side. And to see the phases of what he went through was tough, but we're DeSoni proud, and I was at the moment. So I'm saying thank you to Matt Reese and to my family. We have now sealed the past wounds we had. Me and my brother are the same. Me and my sister's the same. We're all together. This is what families do. And my dad, who was a strong Italian, waited to the last second before he said goodbye on earth. Now he's up in heaven. The gates are open, and my mother's there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Anyone else for citizens' participation? All right. So I don't see any raised hands or anyone else approaching the podium, so I'll begin with the agenda. The first item on our agenda is vote to close the tax classification hearing. So, Michael, if you just want to talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. So this is basically a formality at this point. As you know, the board voted to go ahead and open and continue the tax classification hearing until, and we can't close it until after town meeting, just so we can incorporate all the appropriations, if any, that are part of town meeting. And I believe that Susan had provided in your packet the language of the vote from last year. It's there at the very end, and so it's essentially a motion to close and approve the tax classification hearing.
Okay. Are you ready to?
I think so. I move. So, motion to reopen the tax classification hearing?
Second.
All those in favor of opening it, say aye.
Aye. Okay, and then, motion to approve and close the tax classification hearing.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Okay.
Great.
I would also note that Candy is here, and she's, what item is she here for?
She's here for the whole meeting, Rob.
Oh, she's, boy, what did you do wrong?
Maybe she's interested, Rob.
Yeah.
So, that perked your ears right up,
It won't be
Candy.
a long meeting, so.
Yeah, I believe it was item D, which is the discussion about the approved senior work-off program.
Oh, okay, item D.
So, unless you are here for the whole meeting.
Well, so 7:15, we have a public hearing. Is it something we can discuss in 5 minutes?
Oh, it's kind of tough.
Wait, D?
Oh, okay, that's
A, B,
at
C.
the end of the list.
Oh, there it is, at the end of the list of licenses.
I don't have it on this one.
Okay, it might have been on the more recent.
Discuss the
one.
community block grant
So
monitor.
the mystery has been solved.
Discuss the
Candy.
vote on the opt-in, nope.
It's on the updated one that was updated on Monday.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, isn't
So
that what
just-
Diane sent out to us today?
All right, so when we get to that part, Mike, just,
Except that it's not on our agenda.
It is on the one that's posted.
I think it's got posted, so
I think that
I think
they might
we're
just-
okay there. Okay,
I'll go-
all right.
So,
All right, so now we're on to,
do you have it? Joe? No. So something changed between what Susan sent and then what Diane sent us?
No, you have the same, right? Change on Monday.
Yeah, so it changed on the Monday.
Oh,
Right.
but I printed out what Diane sent out today, and that did not have the updated.
This is the one I printed out from Diane today.
is it on?
Oh, well, I
mine?
apologize for that, because I am looking at that one right now, and no, it's not on there. You're correct.
So do we know it definitely got posted?
I'm checking that right now.
If not, then
If not, then
You
we
might get
can't.
to come back again. Think about that.
No, I think,
Did you post it?
I actually think we could, even if it's not, yeah, it's on the one that's posted.
Good, all right.
Okay.
Well, let's go
Well,
ahead.
that's
then.
a
Was there
little
any
disappointing, but-
other information we needed for that, or we're just going to talk about it? Was there something
Well,
attached?
Jen was going to provide kind of like an overview about things, and Candy,
Okay.
if you want
Because
to
this
start
is
it
what
off.
we
we,
can do
what
that.
got voted and approved at town meeting.
Right.
And so now we're doing,
Okay.
okay, very good. So we'll move on to that when we get,
And also, just so you know, Claudia.
Yeah, she's here.
oh,
Oh, nice. Good.
okay,
We have 3 minutes before 7:15.
all right. Any
Do you want to do the
suggestions?
consent agenda?
I think so. Does anybody want to
Motion
talk
to-
about anything on it?
No,
or-
it's on the consent agenda, that's why we don't talk
No,
about
no,
it.
but people, we pull it all the time. I'm just asking if someone wants to talk about any of it. Okay,
Motion to
Sure.
motion to approve the consent agenda minus item B, which we'll review.
I'll second that.
all right. All right, so the motion's been made in second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those motion passes unanimously. Okay, so now we can talk about item B.
Yeah. So my only question, because the item says, I know we received a request from the Ashland Town Forest Committee to reduce the committee size from 7 members to 5 voting members. And it says, and 1 or more associate members. Do we have, do we know how many associate members we currently have?
I wanted to
what
say it was
is-
4.
We have 4? Okay.
Yeah, Rob, this is updated.
Okay.
Agenda pages, if you
Great,
would.
thanks.
I think there's
I have no
multiple copies
issues,
there.
I have
Oh,
no
I'm sorry.
issues changing
It's okay.
the voting number, the numbers of voting members. But I was just curious,
Pretty
like,
sure we have 4.
On the town forest committee, there's 4?
Associate members.
But they're only asking,
I was just
and 1 or
curious 'cause of-
more, oh,
Yeah, I
so
was
they
just-
can have as many as they want in this language.
I was curious what we had and what the language, like
Okay.
just,
So, does anybody have any concerns or issues in reducing it to 5 voting members and 1 or more?
I would think for them, it makes it easier. If they only
Yeah.
have 5, then it's easier to get quorum and to actually have a meeting.
seven is
7 can be
ambitious,
tough.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would also advise when committees do come to you with expanded membership requests, that you heavily evaluate it, because I know nobody likes to say no to
Right.
people, but we do, this is not the first time where we've had a situation
We've gone
where
up and then we had to go
expanded
down and-
then
yeah.
go
Well, this is one
down.
of them.
Hmm?
This was 5 members.
Right,
at
I
the
think
time.
they
And
ex-
then
they asked
came
us,
and
yeah.
asked us, right.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that happened with open space,
Oh,
that
yeah,
happened.
I remember why.
It's happened a
Okay.
few times.
The other thing I would say is moving forward is that if someone has a request like this, instead of putting it into the consent agenda, let them come to a meeting. We can if we can get an update at
Yeah.
the same time on what they're working on.
That's
So
a
I would
good
say
point.
moving forward,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
a
That's a good idea.
committee asks for this kind of thing, put them on our agenda for the next meeting, and then
Yeah.
that way we can have a conversation.
Yeah, I think
But I
that's
move that
important.
we accept the request for the Ashland Town Forest Committee to reduce the size from 7 to 5 voting members and associate members as they see appropriate.
I'll
Is there a
second
second? Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Motion passed unanimously. The Town Forest Committee size has been reduced to 5 members and 1 or more associate members. All right. Thank you for that.
Now it's 7:15.
So, now it's 7:15. I'm going to open the public hearing for an alteration of licensed premise to Warren Conference Center. Notice is hereby given that the Select Board will conduct a hearing regarding an alteration of licensed premise submitted by Flick International Corporation, DBA Warren Conference Center and Inn. The alteration would include changing the licensed premise to include all the buildings and grounds within the Warren Conference Center and Inn complex, excluding the parking lot. Warren Conference Center and Inn, 529 Chestnut Street, Ashland, Mass. 01721. The public hearing will be held in the matter at Ashland Town Hall, 101 Main Street, on Wednesday, December 6th at 7:15. This meeting will be conducted in person. However, participants are also invited to join the meeting via Zoom using this link, and lists the link. Parties wishing to be heard in this matter should appear at the time and place indicated above. Interested parties who are unable to attend the hearing may submit written comments to the Select Board's office, Town Hall, 101 Main Street, Ashland, Mass. 01721, or by emailing Susan Roby at sroby@ashlandmass.com. Signed, Robert Sherritt, Chair, Select Board. Okay, so we have a motion to open the hearing.
So moved?
Second.
Motion's made in second. All those in favor of open the hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Motion's hearing. Okay, the motion's open, sorry. So do we have a proponent to come forward or a presentation?
Representative of, yep.
Hi, come on up and stand at the podium. Sure. Yeah, go ahead if you have something you want to.
Now, just as kind of a prelude, this is a request for an alteration
He doesn't personally benefit.
of the licensed premises to include basically
Maybe
the
you
whole
should do it
buildings and
yourself.
grounds with a
Yes,
couple
that is our
notable,
hope.
notable exceptions. And Kim Sternick is here from representing Flick. And Kim, would you like to basically present your case and.
Certainly. We are a group-driven property. We have recently transformed one of the buildings, which will become a small cafe called Henry's Place. And we're hoping that we'll be able to serve alcohol, and we thought it would be easier and better for our business and for the community to license the entire premise, including some of our field areas. All of our events are all group-driven. They're booked ahead of time. It's not open to the public. The Henry's Place will be open to the public and will serve as an outlet for light fare and hopefully beverage for our new community club that we have started about 1.5 years ago, as well as to our guests on property, as well as to the general public.
Anything else? According to this agenda, I'm to ask if there's anyone else speaking in favor or anyone opposed to this license requirement. Come forward, raise your hand if you're virtual, or come forward to the microphone if you're here.
Did we get any notification via email from anybody?
I don't recall seeing anything.
Thank you.
Okay. So any further information, comments, questions from the select board?
Just a few. So is this to expand just to include Henry's Place? Or are you looking to then have it be able to do
Well, we're hoping we'll
throughout
be
the
able,
whole
yeah.
facility? Like,
That's
I know
what
you
I
put a
hope.
tent up in the
Yes.
summer, and you do events there. So right now, if you do an event there, you can't serve alcohol
Cannot
there,
serve
correct?
alcohol, right.
Okay, so you're looking to basically say, okay, we want to, rather than, because right now it's just in the lodge, if I'm correct?
Yes, it's
Right.
just in the lodge. So
Okay.
we're adding, there's an addition being put on we broke ground on a couple of weeks ago. So that's also in the alteration.
Where's the
square
addition being
footage.
put on?
We used to have a patio area that was covered on the back side of the Hayden
Yeah.
Lodge. We've removed that, and we're going to be building about a 2,800 square foot room to be
Oh, wow.
named. And that
Okay.
will serve as meeting space as well as general function space.
Oh, okay.
There'll be a deck outside of the dining room area, which will enhance the experience for our guests in there. We would also like to be able to utilize the fields. It offers us the flexibility to do community-based events as well as to private events as well. We get a lot of call for people who want to do fun things out there, and the licensure is somewhat of a drag.
Okay, I'm good. Go ahead.
You good? Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Thank you. One quick question. Does that include the beachfront as well?
Beachfront is state property, so that would
Okay,
absolutely.
that's why I just
yeah,
wanted to make sure.
Absolutely not. It
Okay.
would be within our property lines.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm all set, thanks.
I have a couple questions. So,
Sure.
one of in our packet, one of the locations is guest cabins?
So we have 4 cabins, and I think that was our corporate office. Those are overnight accommodations. We wouldn't be serving alcohol.
Okay, because I
It's
was
just
trying
part
to.
of the hotel. It's,
Okay, I was just trying to figure out
I
how
think
that was
I
gonna
think
work
they
into the
wanted to
process.
incorporate everything, but those are rented privately, and we wouldn't
Okay.
be
Okay.
serving alcohol.
And the times and things are, I don't think I saw that in our packet. Is there limitations?
So we're hoping to amend it to our existing license, which is a 1 AM.
Okay, to 1 AM. And all events are 4 hours or less?
Yep.
I saw, okay.
Yep.
And everything is, even if it's out in the tent, there's the appropriate?
Oh, yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
Gotcha, okay. Because we have not done a premise, I don't think we have any
We don't have any
premise.
premise licenses right now.
So, I'm looking at this as like, I think that if we were to do a premises license, I think this is the place to
Be a
look
test
at to
case,
do.
Yeah,
So, I completely, going through the map and how you guys are laid out and how everything functions, I think, I don't have a lot of concerns with your process, because it seems like, because it's so event-driven.
it is.
And it's not sort of I don't want to call it a free-for-all, but
Right.
that's, because that would be like my concern, as if we had
Of course.
a premises license that was not controlled, I guess you
Yes.
can say, then I would want to make sure we had some parameters on that, so.
Of course.
One of the parameters I think it was mentioned in your packet, that the parking lot was excluded from this location.
I believe you can't, yeah, well, we wouldn't do that anyways,
serve
but it is. You
alcohol.
can't serve alcohol in a parking lot.
No, but I'm just
yeah.
saying that
Yeah.
was one of the
Right.
restrictions that was on the,
That's a good thing to
that
That's
was in
for
the
the
packet.
Yeah.
state laws.
Yep. Okay.
Hey, Michael,
Yeah.
go ahead, anybody.
Tim, I just wanted to
No.
clarify. So except for Henry's Place, all the other times alcohol will be served in the other places, that's going to be prearranged contracted events?
Yes.
Is that correct?
With the
Okay.
exception being that we would hope to be able to offer beer and wine perhaps in the in-lobby or something if you were a transient guest that was staying.
Okay.
But the only bar that we would have open to the public would be at Henry's Place, and it's really cute and tiny.
I love it that it's called Henry's Place.
Isn't it fun?
Does sound like
That's great. That's
All right,
great.
any further deliberation, discussion? before
I'm
we
good with it.
Close the hearing?
No. Anyone to speak against it?
I asked before, no one
Well, we
came forward,
we
but
caught one or two more people on, so. Okay.
just remind people you can raise hand function if you'd like to speak. Let's see, is anybody, okay.
Motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion's been
I
made.
just said it.
Oh, okay, second.
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
It's good she caught
No,
that, that's
sure.
good. Motion's been made and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Claudia, are you voting or participating? I see you there. She may have just turned
She
this
may
on.
be just
be
listening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was
sorry,
planning
thank you.
on listening.
I'll leave her alone.
And then motion to.
Wait a minute, I have to declare, so we closed the public hearing, okay.
Yep.
Very good, go ahead.
Motion to approve the extension of the Warren Conference Center to a premise license as presented in our materials.
I'll second that.
There you go.
Motion is to approve the license has been made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. License has been approved.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
We'll be interested to see how it goes.
Hmm.
So we may ask you back in 6 or 8 months to find out how it's working for you. Great. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you, same to
Thank
you.
you. All right, the next is the public hearing for a livery license. Applicant is Anthony Gomes. I'm going to ask the vice chair if she'd be so kind to read
Sure.
it. My voice is giving out. Thank you.
Notice is hereby given that the Select Board will conduct a hearing regarding an application for a livery license to Anthony J. Gomes, 14 Upland Road, Ashland, Mass. 01721. A public hearing will be held on this matter on Wednesday, December 6th, 2023 at,
7:45, I believe.
oh, so then we need to wait.
Yeah, so
I'm
we can-
sorry,
we
we
can
need
Oh,
to
yes,
wait.
let's
But we
wait.
can have to
Okay,
wait.
thank you.
Nope, we will wait to read this until 7:45.
Well, we can go on to old
Old
new
new
business.
business.
So that's the annual license renewals, which we all have a long list, and I think we decided we don't need to read it, we can reference the list.
Thank you.
that's
Yes,
in
by
your
having it
agenda.
on our agenda, then people can see what has been
Very smart.
approved. So,
And this is all of our licenses in town. This
Yes.
is our,
Yep. Looks like
this
it.
is like all the liquor licenses, this is all the common vic
Common, yep.
license, any sort of.
amusement,
yep,
billiards,
Amusement. Everything.
Entertainment.
Yep.
All of those.
hobby,
Lodging.
yep.
That's good, yeah, it's
So-
good to describe it for the public, what we're all
All,
looking at here.
so all alcohol restaurant, all alcohol retail, wine malt restaurant, wine malt retail, amusement, billiards, class 2, which is used cars, class 3, which is junk and salvage, club, common vic, entertainment, hobby, lodging, and taxi and livery. I think it should be junk and salvage, not, or is it junk and savage?
Salvage,
Okay.
savage, those savage junk
That was
people.
savage.
It'd be a first in the state.
It would. I move that we approve the list of license renewals as presented on the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion's been, all the licenses listed
renewed.
here are renewed. All right, very
Thank you,
good.
businesses, for staying in Ashland.
Yeah.
All right, so I
Our
think
newest
the
one on
next one is discuss the community block grant monitoring process and follow-up. So if you'll recall, I, as chair, was sent a letter, a finding letter from our management of the community development block grant funds that had to do with, and Michael will talk about it, but we hired a subcontractor to oversee some awards and help for businesses who were affected by COVID epidemic, and there's some issues with documentation of, I think, of my recollection of losses from those businesses, and then some of the businesses actually didn't respond to tell how they used the funds, and OLHLC, whatever their new acronym is, was not happy with our subcontractors' management, so they sent us that report, and Michael has, my understanding, has done some extensive follow-up on that, and so he's ready to tell us about how that's going.
Yeah, Rob, you actually summarized it pretty well. If everybody recalls, we were awarded almost a $5 million micro enterprise grant to distribute to businesses that were impacted by COVID. We weren't given much of a choice on who we could select, but basically we subcontracted with Mass Growth Capital Corporation to basically administer the program. And so they're the ones who set things up. They used a state-supported portal for all the documentation purposes. And so fast forward to 2022, late 2022, early 2023, and going back, as the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities went back through and looked at the documentation, basically kind of an audit, they sampled a few different businesses, and they saw that there wasn't necessarily the documentation that was required, that needed to be there. And so that is what they are bringing to our attention and asking for our help in terms of reconciling that. And so basically what we're doing, we're trying to work with Mass Growth Capital Corporation, although Beth is doing a lot of this herself, reaching out to these specific businesses to try to obtain the documentation that is being required. So far, we've really had very little luck with regards to Mass Growth Capital Corporation. But and I mean, we're finding a couple businesses are actually out of business at this point. Wow. So Beth's working on that. We've got about another month we have about a month in the time frame that Executive Office has given us to put our response together and put forward. So we hope to have more information at that point in time. And what we have to do is we have to submit essentially a letter that says that we will comply with, future grant obligations and internal controls and things of that nature. So we'll need to do that, at the beginning of the year.
Questions?
Yeah, just one question. So if we were made or forced to work with this particular vendor, and they didn't follow up with what they were required to do we have any recourse? Yeah, or are we on the hook for anything because they didn't do what they were supposed to do?
I think that's yet to be seen. So, according to the letter that we have received, it does not look like there's any current financial penalties that are on the table. They do say that we cannot basically contract with Mass Growth Capital Corporation again unless we submit to the Executive Office what that agreement is, and they feel comfortable that MGCC can handle it.
Okay.
To answer your direct question, I think if there was a monetary, penalty imposed, we would then have recourse
to go back to Mass.
Based on the agreement that we had signed with them.
Okay. Thank you.
Michael, was that one of the companies that the state suggested the towns use?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty.
So
this
they
deal was
vetted
brokered by
this.
MAPC. Yeah, and I think it's important to note that we're crossing over a couple different administrations here, which I will say I feel has something to do with this, because amazingly, like when we received this money, the state, meaning the state, wanted to push it out like right away and get it into the hands of these businesses as soon as possible. So I think, under one administration we were given certain instructions, and Mass Growth Capital was given, certain instructions, and then, with the new administration coming in, which admittedly is probably on the hook, for any kind of any kind of consequences associated with this. Yeah.
Well, I think it was, when I read it, I was, and I've been involved in these kind of relief programs as well. I was a little surprised at, well, first of all, that they didn't get good applications from people showing the need. And then the businesses, their lack of response and the fact that it sounds like you're still having difficulty with some of these, that's really very disappointing and somewhat unusual that they wouldn't document. I did a PPP loan, many of us probably did. You just had to follow the documentation. It sounds like these people aren't even bothering to do that. And are these any business, I know this is a huge grant and involves, are these any local businesses that are?
I do not believe there are any
Okay, well,
Ashland
that's good to
businesses
know.
that were part of the 16.
Yeah, I was just reading that. I was a little surprised at the kind of, it was a little, Mass Growth, it was a little slipshod, but, I think they also expected kind of conscientious response from people who are getting these grants. And it sounds like there's a lot of resistance, and that's very disappointing.
Yeah,
Somewhat unusual.
resistance or basically just lackadaisical attitude.
Yeah, indifference.
towards
And this is,
things.
you get people complaining about misspent government funds, and this is, unfortunately.
But I was also think if a business got the funds and then they still weren't able to stay in business,
Well, that's true.
at this
Ones
point,
that failed, it's,
once they failed because of COVID, even if they got these funds, they have
They're
no
gone.
incentive
Yeah.
to reply or to
Yeah.
fill this paperwork
Well, I
out,
think, but that's not,
unfortunately.
that isn't the case, though. You've got active businesses that are not responding, is that correct?
Well, some, apparently a couple have come back, or it's come to our attention that they're
They're
not in
failed.
business
Well,
anymore.
So that's,
I think the way, Beth is approaching it, first of all, is she's emailing these businesses herself to establish a paper trail. And, we will do our best. She'll follow up with phone calls. We'll do our best to
Get it
get the
documented,
information
yeah.
that we can, even though this really should be Mass Growth Capital.
I was going to say, because it wasn't Beth that got the businesses to work with us, right? It was Mass Growth Capital that
Well,
reached
each
out, because it's not
community-
just Ashland, right? It's
Right.
a number of communities.
And I believe it was 23 communities.
Yeah.
In each of the communities, local officials in each of those communities helped identify the businesses that would be utilized. And Mass Growth Capital Corporation was really kind of the administrative agency that set up the submittables platform, which was, the platform that they used for all of this documentation, held the money, all of that good stuff.
distributed,
Okay.
yeah.
So-
Let me ask a question. It was, I assume that this was not the only block grant that was given to MGCC, if it's like a state thing.
But we're not the only one who got it.
So I'm curious if you've heard from other sort of administrative groups of these block grants, if there's other issues in other communities and they're kind of dealing with the same issues. I don't know if you've heard of anything.
I have not heard that. I
Yeah.
mean, Beth did say today that it seems like Mass Growth Capital is being sued.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily sure by who or whom or what entity, but,
They were receiving some more on other projects when she.
Well, we're the
Yeah.
sub-recipient, we're probably a sub-recipient, they're a sub-sub-recipient, and so everybody's liable.
well, that's a good point, because I think the state dollars were coming from the federal government.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
recipients,
HUD,
yeah.
and then, yeah.
I was just curious, because if there are other communities that are dealing with this issue, and it becomes a bigger issue, because
Yeah.
if it's a federal thing where the documentation isn't there, and then the state is trying to crack down on how this was administered, if there is some sort of liability with MGCC.
Potentially under audit.
So, anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
But it sounds like they're being reasonable as long as we're making a good effort. And I'm glad that Beth unfortunately had to take it up, but I think it's important for our own.
16. Well, technically it was 14, because they sampled 16. 2 of them had the required documentation. And 14 did not.
It's like unbelievable.
Not a good ratio. That's
But
batting
how many-
100.
But how many businesses benefit? I mean, like,
Oh,
60
gosh.
to 100 businesses benefited from this program
Right,
overall,
but they did a
right?
random sample, right?
No, I understand that.
Which-
So they just sampled the wrong ones?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm kidding,
Yeah, right.
but,
That's what happened.
Yeah.
okay, well,
What's it-
you'll keep us posted
Yeah.
on if
Just
there's anything
one,
else.
one kind of procedural question. So what was the total amount that it passed through our finances, right?
Yeah,
Is it going to be part of our financial statement?
4,950,000. that was the total amount.
Yeah, so that'll be under our financial statement at the end of the year, right? I mean, it's
It
our-
will I think it's already passed, it's different.
I think it was already on.
Yeah.
Right, oh, okay.
I was
And
gonna
it
say,
was
'cause
part
that
of
was
our-
like
Did it
a
change
year or
our
two ago,
filing
it had to finish.
requirements at all, because it was over?
Didn't change our filing requirements, and actually, it has been, like, our books have been audited since
Yeah.
then, and.
Because wasn't it 2020 or 2021
Yeah,
that
that's
this
true.
program was?
So it already happened,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
done
Yeah.
and gone.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, well, thank
Yeah.
you, and hopefully we'll be able to keep up
that
the effort.
resolved.
All right, where are we now?
Discuss and vote on opt-out for vote by mail.
Oh,
Yeah, if you don't mind, Jen, I'll turn it over to you to start it off.
The mail, we're just gonna pull this one, right? This is Cindy.
Yeah, we're going to pull the vote by mail, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Cindy was waiting for some information from the state,
Okay.
and we checked right before, and she still did not have that.
Okay, okay. So
Sorry.
then on to D, discuss and vote on the town
Okay.
meeting approved senior work-off program.
ah, this is it, this is Candy's moment, okay. Go
So,
ahead, Jen.
as you know, last week at town meeting, we reaffirmed our commitment to the senior tax work-off program and then accepted sort of two provisions. One, rather than having a maximum amount each year that you can earn, it was a number of hours, so up to 125 hours, and then also allowing somebody who's not physically able to complete the hours, have somebody else do their hours in their place, yeah. So we did, just looking at our program, it allows the select board to outline the program rules, and so I just wanted to sort of discuss some of those changes. Candy's already received several inquiries, or at least 2 or 3 inquiries, for people who really want to start right as January.
There was nothing in our packet to,
No, yeah, so,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So in January, just to get started, and then if you conceptually agree with the direction, we can put together the rule.
and do it as of January.
And do it as of
Like,
January.
do it
Just
our
don't have-
first meeting in January, we
We
can
can sort of
find.
affirm it, but then she
Okay.
can start moving forward, assuming, getting people placed.
Okay.
So it's 60 and over, which is, did not change. Previously, we just had, you had to be a resident homeowner of Ashland. We're thinking about adding for a minimum of 5 years, so be here in town for 5 years to be eligible for that program. Obviously, you have to occupy the property for which the taxes are going to be. And so that if you had somebody that was going to work off your hours for you, the law and the guidance from the state is that that person should also reside in that home, yeah. So
Oh,
a
okay,
immediate
so
family member
it's
reside
not
in the
like
home.
landlords or,
Right, so
Okay.
immediately reside in the home.
So the person who's working off needs to reside in the home as well?
Yes.
Does that make sense, though?
So
Sorry.
it could be a spouse or it could be a child. It's an immediate
be a-
family member. It could be, yeah.
But a child may no longer live with them, right? I think about, we have some senior citizens in town who are the parents of people who live in town. And could it be that they at least live, if they don't live in the residence, they live in town or something?
I can get clarification, but we can have
Okay.
immediate family, and if it's required by law, we'll
Maybe-
keep it in as
Maybe
the-
immediate family makes sense, but, okay.
I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
so this wouldn't work on behalf of anybody that needed community service hours would come and work for that individual per se?
You meaning like a student that needs community?
Yeah.
It couldn't be dually, it couldn't be dually.
It could,
can't
they
count
can use
towards
it both
two
ways?
things.
Can't, yeah,
Right,
so it would
okay.
have to be one. yeah.
All right, thank you.
Previously, we had a not to exceed sort of gross annual income for residents. We've sort of looked around. There are communities that do have a cap. Many communities do not, just with sort of it's a service that you're working off, and so you can also be eligible for the exemption if you met those income. So we were thinking about, at least for this first year, try that out, have no limitation in terms of what you're earning.
No
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 income.
income limitation for someone who wants to do this.
Yeah, so
Okay.
anybody who's over 60 that's able and that meets the requirements and can sort of, it's really about basing, matching skills with what we might need as opposed to the income eligibility.
do you have an idea, what do we, so over 60, I think most of us don't think of, I guess I'll speak for myself, if people who are just like around 60 is not really needing this or maybe not having income. We think of older people as generally receiving this. Do you have an idea, like over 60, like, what are we talking about in terms of numbers? And
So we're going to actually have a cap for this year, for 10. As we also don't have unlimited number of opportunities.
I see.
And so we still have to manage.
What's the cap? Did you say 10?
10, we're thinking 10.
Oh,
Last
okay,
year, we
so
only
it's a
had three,
relatively
we only
small
had 3
number.
people participate
okay.
last year.
Yeah, yeah.
I think maybe at our top, maybe, how many was the total? 6 is the,
And the idea,
6.
and the idea now is instead of a dollar amount, it's hours. And depending on, if I understand it correctly, depending on what they do will determine what rate they're credited at, correct?
So they'll make minimum wage.
Oh,
So
okay.
$15 an hour.
Okay.
And so we can go up to 125 hours. We've previously been at 50 because our cap was really low in
Okay.
this. So we're thinking 100 hours, which is actually a lot of hours to do in a year. And so if we cap it at 100 hours at $15 an hour for 10 people, we're talking about $15,000. You know, they get $1,500 per person and for the budget.
It could be a
of
potential of
15,000.
15,000. Okay.
And that's really all the changes. And so what we'll do is we'll create little blurbs for the departments that need work, and that way we're able to match skills, and then they would fill out paperwork and we would be able to place them. But if conceptually we can agree on that, I can put a rule document together to sort of, and we can confirm that in January, but at least Candy can start working on
Great.
getting people in place so that they can start working their
So
hours.
could this be, like someone, works in the clerk's office or
Yeah, so typically.
DPW needs someone to file, or could they use this for working at the polls?
So typically, we don't use it for working at the
Okay.
polls. It's usually, but we often have staff in the clerk's office. That's one of the
Right.
departments that does usually participate. Senior center, sometimes the library. And then I think maybe the food pantry we talked about. There's
Okay.
some opportunities to expand it, and we'll make sure that we have,
Great.
and people can sort of tell us where they're also interested.
And why are you doing 60 plus? Why not 65 plus?
That's what the law says, yeah.
Oh, the law says it has to be 60 plus. Oh, okay.
But, so you're talking about only 10 people, so do you select, or are you gonna select people? Like, what happens if you get more than 10?
Yeah, come to the
Yeah,
microphone.
come on up here, Ken. You've been here all this time,
I
you
know,
gotta do
right?
something.
Well, Candy Wilson, I'm the director of the senior center and also an Ashland resident. So my understanding is, can you repeat your question? I just want to
Well,
be
I
sure
was
that
just, so there's 10, I
Yep.
just don't know what kind of demand
So I would
there
match
is
the
out there.
folks to the skill set that they have. So we wouldn't necessarily want to place somebody in a role that they couldn't.
Right, but I'm saying, what if you get more interest?
More requests than 10.
So it would have to, so other towns, we could do it as a lottery. It would have to be
Okay.
done as a
Yeah.
lottery. And that's what other
Besides it.
towns are doing as well.
But we felt like in the last 5 years, we haven't had more than 6.
Yeah.
And so,
Okay,
that's
even
if
if
people are more interested, because now we've had a little bit more public discussion, because it was, I think, been a bit of time since we implemented.
Yep.
And so if we even double that, and so we felt like 10 was a decent number. It sort of matches, I think Holliston or Hopkinton has a similar cap. Some of the larger departments have bigger caps, as obviously.
Is there a date that people need to, decide that they want to participate by, or?
So typically, the program runs January to December, so they
Okay.
have to complete their work hours by
By
December 30th.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm just thinking, if
It's rolling in terms of like if
Yeah.
you didn't participate, but most of the folks that do want to participate want the whole calendar year, because although
Okay.
100 hours doesn't seem like a lot, it
So
is when it's.
It is 7:45, but
Yeah.
Okay.
are we agreeable to
I think
this
so.
I'm
outline?
good.
I think we're,
Okay.
yeah, so thank you. And I'll turn this over to the vice chair
Thank
to
you.
run this hearing, so
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks,
Great.
Candy.
Did
Okay.
you, I'm sorry, did you have a question, sir, about this?
I have a letter for the public hearing for the.
Oh, yeah, we're about to
Yes,
start
we're
that.
about to read that, so
Very
if you,
good.
if you want, you can step up. So it's now 7:45, notice is hereby given that the Select Board will conduct a hearing, I guess I should put my glasses on, regarding an application for a livery license for Anthony J. Gomes, 14 Upland Road, Ashland, Mass. A public hearing will be held on this matter on Wednesday, December 6, 2023, at 7:45 PM at the Ashland Town Hall. Parties wishing to be heard on this matter are invited to attend the public hearing or can participate via Zoom. Interested parties who are unable to attend the hearing may submit written comments to the Ashland Select Board, Town Hall, 101 Main Street, Ashland, Mass. 01721, or by emailing Susan Roby at sroby@ashlandmass.com. I move that we open the public hearing as read.
I'll second that.
Okay. Okay. So we're opening the hearing. So if you could come up to the microphone, sir?
Oh, we should vote, right? Aye.
Yeah, aye.
Aye.
We voted,
401.
Yeah, I'll call the vote, sorry. Okay. So this is now our public hearing.
Yes, my
Are
name
you Anthony?
I am Anthony J. Gomes.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're looking to do and what you're looking for with this license?
Well, I am retired, like 72 years old, sitting at home for nothing. I need to do something myself with a livery license. I met the other day one of my friends. He said, "Why don't we apply for the livery license?" I said, how do I do that? He said, "Go to the town hall, they will assist you."
Love it.
So that's why I'm interested to make some little money.
Okay. And can you explain a little bit about what your business is going to do?
For the family maintenance.
So you're going to be a livery service,
Yeah,
certain hours?
Oh,
Are you
so-
going to have a special car?
I have a car.
Okay.
I don't know how many hours I can do it, but I will try my best.
Okay.
More hours.
And so the livery, you're going to just do it from your home?
Yes.
Any signage at your home or anything like that?
No.
No, okay. So we did have someone email, I don't know if it was one of your neighbors, they had some questions, but we were able to answer that. One of the concerns was operating 24 hours a day. Do you think you'll be pulling out at 2 a.m. or?
Yeah, no problem.
But the idea is you're just going to use your car,
Yes.
and from what we read, you're really just looking to do local trips, help people get to
Yes,
different places.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Any questions?
Just on the application, Mr. Gomes, the business name, and you put down taxi livery license permit. What is actually the name of the company that you'll be running?
It's not that company, it's running
Do you-
from my home.
I understand that, but you have a business name.
Do you have a name
No.
for your business?
You
Just
do-
Anthony
just
Gomes?
Anthony
It's
Gomes.
just Anthony Gomes.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Is the difference business name and Anthony Gomes?
If you wanted to have a business, you could have a business name, or it just can be Anthony Gomes, that's fine
Yep.
too.
Well,
Yeah,
I can change it later on, right?
yes, you would
Okay.
just need to let us know that,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Any other questions from the board? Do I have anybody via Zoom, either here to support or go against this livery license request? If you do, please use the raise hand function down under reactions to let us know. And I am seeing none. There's a little hand there, but I think it's the cursor.
That's Jen's hand.
Okay, so seeing nothing on, of questions to be asked, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Great. All those in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Aye. That carries 4-0. Any other discussion or debate? No? Okay. I move that we approve the taxi livery license permit for Anthony J. Gomes at Upland Road, Ashland, Mass.
I'll second that.
Great. All those in favor of the motion? Aye. Opposed? 0. And that passes. You are officially in business as a taxi and livery service.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right,
Thank you.
all right. Thank you.
Okay, now,
Yep.
Payment.
Can he give you,
I mean, we can take it here now, but you might have, why don't you hold off, because you might have some other
yeah, why
paperwork
don't
that
you come
need to
back,
do,
yeah,
and come back during normal business hours?
during business hours to pay everything and get a stamp and everything?
tomorrow?
Yeah,
You can do it tomorrow.
That'd be
Tomorrow,
great.
What time should I come?
So we're open from 8 to 4, or 3:30, I'm sorry.
Any particular time, anytime?
Anytime between those hours.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
you're welcome. Good luck.
Jim, thank you. All right. Well, thank you, Madam Vice Chair, for handling
Yeah.
that for me. I appreciate it. So that brings us to number 6 on the agenda, if I'm tracing this right, priority project update from the town manager.
Yeah, so downtown, I don't think there's been too much of an update since the last time we talked about it. Good night.
Thank you, and thank you, Candy. It's good seeing you.
Essentially, the road work is done. As you can see,
Yeah.
they've done a really nice job. We're at the point now where we have a monetized punch list, and we're going through those. So hopefully those can get resolved without too much angst and too much drama. And, there's small things, like there's a couple concrete panels that are cracked. Some of the bricks are cracked. A lot of those have been replaced already. And so the next step is really to start moving towards taking the poles down.
One question, that I've talked to you about a couple of trees and different plantings, and is that part of the monetized punch list?
Yes.
Or, okay.
It-
I mean, I know
moving some of
we
those.
won't do anything now, that has to be a spring thing, but, okay.
Right.
Great.
And so the next thing is moving towards taking the poles down. And so Verizon is finally moving and getting a lot of their equipment installed. Comcast is in a pretty good place. They're essentially waiting on us now at this point. Eversource has a lot of their equipment in. They do have a delay with transformers that they need. We need about 12 transformers. We've got about 10, the required ones, so we're still waiting on 2. Hopkinton and their project is having a very similar experience. I've said as long as we're first. I said that with
started
Karen's
first.
office on the phone, and I put them in a bad spot. So I want to acknowledge that.
And how are the connections to the homes and businesses going, the underground connections?
So we'll put that out to bid in January.
Oh, okay.
As part of that, we've had some, I don't know, for those of you that were at the tree lighting or maybe the menorah lighting last year, we seem to have some issues with that electrical circuit. So we're going to include, the hot chocolate effect.
It was not good.
And so we're going to go ahead and incorporate fixing that as part of the building connections.
Oh, good,
bid.
good.
So that work will be done in the spring, and then once that's connected, we energize the system, make sure everything's working, and then we start the process of taking the wires down and then the poles. So Eversource anticipated having that done mid-2024, the poles down,
Okay.
so we'll
And
look forward to that
we're still on
date.
track for that.
Yes.
Great.
So,
And, the downtown looks great, especially with the holiday lights up and everything. Very
yeah,
nice.
I will say, to add to this, the Mill Pond Sluice Way observation deck. So the deck has been completed. What needs to happen now is, and DPW is doing this work. There's a little bit of an incline that needs to be done to make it ADA compliant, and so they're working on that. They're working with Nick O'Hara with, getting the right granite and stuff for that to
Nice.
make it work.
Nice,
So,
nice, nice.
and thanks to Nick. So that's downtown. Moving on to public safety, we do have some news there. Jen, you want to talk about it?
Sure. So the correct doors have arrived, which is great news, yes. And so they've been working to take one door at a time down, one set of doors at a time, so that we can continue to operate. And they've coordinated with the fire department, so they're moving apparatus to make sure that they can maintain their ability to respond to calls. We have 2 fully operational, and the third should be, if not today, in the next day or so. And they'll do one at a time. And so over the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have the rest of the bays done and complete. They do look a lot nicer. They're definitely, you can, even just when you look at them, you can tell the quality. So I'm really happy
interesting.
that has happened. I think even the openers, that it's a lot quieter. Even the hinges, the sizes of the hinges are like double maybe.
Which have they done first?
The one closest to the school, like when you're going up the hill.
Okay, so as you're going
yeah,
up the hill, okay.
And you can really tell that.
Well, that's
you
why
can
I
tell with
figured
the
I'd
huge
ask. I
window.
haven't been
Yeah.
by there for a few days.
Yeah, so there's the window, when you go by at night, it's super evident
Nice.
in terms of,
Okay.
so that's done. And then
Great.
solar is also complete.
Oh,
So that
nice.
is also done. So really just working on some last minute punch list items, and then a couple of the change orders that had long lead times. And so that's really, really wrapping up at this point.
Nice. That's great. Okay.
Okay. Mendez School, I think probably the big news is that we've got the playground open since our last meeting. And so we, that was a fun,
It's a big thing.
fun thing to sign off on. And so the kids were really, really appreciative of that. The other thing we're working on is with, some of the new infrastructure funds that came on board, or came online, I should say. There's the opportunity for municipalities to take advantage of solar energy tax credits that we weren't necessarily able to before because, well, we don't get ourselves taxed.
Right.
So the rules have changed a little bit around that, but that's the good news, and so we might be eligible for a significant amount of money based on those credits for the Mendez School and its solar project. That's the good news. The bad news is that nobody's ever done this before, so we're all kind of like figuring out how it works going along.
So because it's not, we didn't create solar for that, right? On the
It's
Mendez?
solar ready.
It's solar ready.
And then it's also got other
On the-
energy
On the
efficiency
gym,
measures,
right,
yeah.
I mean, it has a lot of energy efficiencies, but, okay.
Could we utilize the public safety building for some of those tax credits as well?
I think that would be credited to the school project, solely the school project.
Okay, yeah, but it would
Yeah.
piggyback on it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's Mendez. Valentine, so we've been at the barn has been at the 95% complete stage for
Looks
a
good.
couple of weeks now. It looks incredible. What's still remaining is they have to finish up a little bit more of the flooring, which is the 2-inch rough sawn boards. And then also the barn doors. So the barn doors have been painted and they've been, protected. That's happening in the shop. Those should be going up pretty soon. And then after that, one of the final pieces is, I don't know if you've noticed this, but there are a couple of doors that we basically restored on the sides. Except there's a sizable step down, so
Yeah.
Doug is actually working with Nick O'Hara again to, procure some granite steps for those
Nice.
sites. But, it's pretty utilitarian, of course,
And
but it's pretty nice.
we have a date on our calendar, right, for January?
I believe it's 27th or 29th.
Oh.
I believe, for the forum.
27th or 29th.
Yeah, let me double check. I'll have to go back to my notes, but we did establish a date.
Yeah, I think it was the
The
27th.
27th is a Saturday,
So it must have been the
the
20th.
29th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Monday.
Because I had a date of the 22nd, so if we pushed it out to the 29th, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did we have that on our schedule? Do we get that? I just don't. I know we talked about it, didn't we?
We had talked
Yeah.
about it, so, okay, the 29th, perfect.
And then, nothing really on the Warren District. So I think that's pretty much wraps up priority projects.
And I'm
Okay.
just, I'll renew my ask to have the Upper Charles Trail put on this list here. So,
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, public safety building should go off soon, so that would be good.
No, good.
Mendez School should go
And
off
Mendez.
soon.
Well, except that we still have all that field work and stuff to do.
True.
And some
Well, the new
reimbursement
the new
stuff.
traffic patterns have already started.
Yes,
And
yeah.
it's worked out pretty well so far. There's no backup of any of the parents that are usually parked on Concord Street.
Good.
Well, that's-
Everybody's
that was a
inside
whole
the-
They shouldn't have
idea.
been parked on Concord Street at all since the Mendez opened, because they were pulling up along the
Oh, the
back of the
buses
school.
were too. Oh,
No, the buses were using the,
they were still attacked. Right now, everything is working well.
oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's working well.
Hopefully, because,
Good.
boy, there was a lot of planning
There's a-
on
There's a
that.
lot of, there's a lot of space there. Okay,
For sure.
okay.
Okay,
Good
town
stuff.
manager?
Yeah, so I've got a
Recap?
couple items here on the agenda and a few items that are not on the agenda. So I'll start with the ones that are on. So special town meeting recap. Obviously, we had town meeting on last Wednesday. We had about 81 people attend, so
Not bad.
not a giant town meeting. But we didn't have much on the warrant. We only had 8 items. All items passed, including our free cash appropriation, which funds our long-term liabilities, and then also our capital program. Town meeting approved the 41C.5 exemption, which provides tax relief for seniors. We did do the senior tax work-off program, as we discussed earlier. There were a couple of land-related things, one a donation from the Bell property, and also an easement on High Street. So both of those are being worked on by Lisa, to finalize that stuff and move it forward. And then the liquor license, the authorization for the board to submit a home rule petition for the liquor licenses, we need to start working to put that together for the board to vote on. And the other two were CPC articles. So, and so those passed as well. So I thought all in all, we had some sound issues, and we had some AC issues. Yes, AC.
Yes, it was
in
a little chilly.
November. But those were resolved thanks to our crack team at WACA and the people that they work with, as well as our facilities team. So that was fixed in relatively short order. So it was a good meeting.
Great.
So,
Yeah.
so
Other items, Michael?
yeah, so I have, so it says up here, update on the clinician, and that's the jail diversion program clinician.
Oh, right.
So the town and our police department has contracted with Riverside Community Care, who has selected a person to work with us as our clinician for the JDP program. It's local resident Kirsten Quern.
Nice.
So she has started her training process and everything, so
Great.
we think she's going to work out really, really well. I think many of you probably know Kirsten.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
so
What did you
that's
call
good.
the program, Michael?
The jail diversion program.
Jail diversion. Is it a ride-along or just kind of like a call?
It's kind of it's really call-based.
Call-based, yeah, so
Um,
she'll respond to,
yeah.
Okay.
There
That's great.
are some ride-along aspects to it as well.
Nice.
The other things I had, so, first of all, we just had a great weekend in terms of events. So Saturday, we obviously had the holiday stroll and the tree lighting, and the town just looks smashing. I have to give Beth a lot of credit.
It's like
in
a
terms of-
Hallmark moment.
I've had
It's
more
almost
than
like a
one.
Hallmark movie.
I've had more than one people, more than a handful of people
Yeah,
say
that's
that.
funny.
Yep.
But we do have, the lights are just professionally done, so, and it makes a huge difference. The stroll was a big success. Our vendors, we'd increased our vendors by a third. They ended up being wildly successful.
Oh, that's good.
The tree lighting was successful. Santa made it in that freezing cold, and he had a long. He had a long list or long line of people who were waiting to tell him all of his good stuff, or all of the good stuff that they want for Christmas. So everything went off pretty well.
Santa spent a lot of time in Ashland.
Santa, yes,
We had him,
at
we
the
had him
corner
for almost the
spot.
whole
and-
day, so.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. And also what was going on Saturday was our comprehensive plan open house. And so we had set a goal as a steering committee to get 100 people participate as part of that. We had just shy of 160. We had 159
Yep.
provide feedback. So it was really, really great. The room
Yeah.
was
It was an all
always busy.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Want to thank everybody who was involved with putting that together, including the consultant and our working group, Yolanda, yourself,
These folks, yeah.
Kate and Beth. Want to thank the Moms Club for providing
That was that
kids'
was so good.
activities. And so the kids drew what they liked about Ashland and what they would like to see in Ashland. I will
Those
have
were
to
the best.
Those were so fun to see.
I think the consultant's going to scan those in, and it's
And
going to
take
be.
It's going to be part of
the
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked to, the
So
Moms
cool.
Club.
Yeah.
The
I
best
like-
one was a Popeye's chicken.
The Popeye's chicken, more rainbows, because
Yeah.
we need more rainbows.
I mean, they were all good, but I really liked some of the realistic ones, like looking for the skate park
Yeah.
and different playgrounds and different things. But
It
yeah,
was
the
nice.
more
Popeyes.
rainbows was good.
Yeah.
Popeyes was fun.
So, but again,
There
thanks to
was
the
one
Moms
that I
Club.
questioned. Somebody had said no waste management, no
Oh,
garbage.
more
truck.
trucks.
Yeah,
More-
but it was.
more trucks.
But I questioned whether that was a child.
Here, draw this picture, kid.
You never know.
You never know.
That's great.
It was drawn by a coyote.
It was actually, but it was awesome.
Yeah,
So-
that was good.
A lot of
it
good
was good.
conversation, a lot
Yeah.
of people.
That was
so.
good.
So we should have more consolidated look at that feedback at our next steering committee meeting.
Yep.
So looking forward to seeing that. I did get a chance to scan some of the Post-it notes, and it looks like there was some really good feedback
Yep.
provided.
Yeah, and there was a lot of, thank you guys for doing it, and Michael was there, and all the
Yeah.
steering committee members, a lot of
Yeah,
enthusiasm.
a lot
It was
of, a lot
great.
of members were there. It was good,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
helpful.
And then on Sunday, we had the Diwali event, which is basically combo Town of Ashland and
middle school.
Ashland Indians Club event, and that was great. Brandy was there with us. They actually collected $300 to donate to the food pantry.
Oh, nice.
And
Nice.
it was a great event. A lot of the kids performed, and it's just amazing the kind of talent that we have here, from dancing
So this
to
was
singing.
different than the one that they had back in November, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this one was at the middle school. It's usually at the corner spot.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
had the Rangoli and the.
Okay, so, okay, that explains it, the one they
and the
usually have at the corner
food
spot.
and-
Okay.
Yeah, so it was good.
Okay.
It was really good.
It was good.
And it was at the middle school, which was good because Sunday the weather was lousy
Oh,
and it
yeah.
would have
Yeah, so
been
it
a
was
miserable
inside.
They would have had to
experience.
cancel it if they
Yeah.
had landed outside.
So it was
Right.
good.
And then the last thing I have is just, I've brought to your attention the fact that we have some issues with the roof.
Yeah.
And that was on our list for 2024 to one of our goals to get done. So we're expecting bids on that roof fix to come back in January 16th, right? So,
Yep.
see if we're successful this time around. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on that, how that goes.
Great.
And Jen, did you have anything? Okay, I think that's
All
us.
right. Well, thank you. So we're ready for board reports.
Yep.
And if Claudia, if you want to say anything, just raise your hand. But we'll start with.
Well, actually,
What?
Brandy has her poem, so we thought we would have Brandy do her
Oh, yes,
poem
we'll do-
last.
yes, I think
Finish
that-
on that.
How could I have forgotten that? All right, very good.
She has her poem, so we'll let her
She's
do her
ready.
poem last.
All right, so
Yeah.
Joe, why don't you lead us off?
I'm happy to be lead off here, not a problem.
They need to be able to hear you.
Made me not want to. The holiday lighting and holiday stroll, like Michael said, it was an awesome time. It was nice to see Santa back and doing the things that they enjoyed doing. I had heard that four children sat on Santa's lap, and they came from the Ukraine, and their families are here in town.
Oh, wow.
And each one of them, they had come through the line separately. And one of the elves had told Santa that they're from the Ukraine. So Santa asked what they wanted for Christmas. And they said, peace in my country. That was it.
Yeah,
That was it for Santa, I can tell you that right now.
yeah.
Man, oh man, out of the mouth of babes. I just wish our world leaders could hear these things and make those decisions. But anyway, it was a great time. I enjoyed it. The Ashland Traffic Study Committee, we met a couple of weeks ago, and one of the biggest concerns right now is speeding in and around the areas, many areas of town. And so we've been talking about that. We've been talking about, the possibility of putting speed bumps in, if that's something that could happen. The other is more visibility with our police officers out there doing radar. Even if they just gave, written warnings instead of written citations, that hurts the pockets of anybody, because it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
With the additional fees that they put on the citations today, it's just not a $25 speed
Right.
fine. Now it's 100 plus 150 and other things. So you're looking at $300 to $400 at a whack. But anyway, so we're talking about that. I just want to make mention that we have the employee recognition luncheon this Friday at 8, right? So on the 8th, which is, it's always a fun thing to do. And the menorah lighting is December 10th from 6:15 to 7. And I'll hold this one for Yolanda, because I know she's a lion, so she would hype up on that. And just to, it's been a tough week a tough weekend for the town of Ashland. We lost a lot of great residents in town. Just recently, Helen Bongasena passed away. She was an assistant teacher. She was a teacher's assistant for over 25 years at in the Ashland school system. Very loved and very caring person, and I wish her peace and rest, and condolences to her family. The Pimentel family, another tragedy that just happened over the weekend. Mr. DeSoni, Gus used to look at us when we go visit over there, and he just said, "I don't know about you boys." And that's exactly what he would say. "I don't know about you boys." And there was a hidden message in there. And we all got it. We believe me.
Sounds
We
like
all
a
got
few.
it. Yeah, oh, yeah, and then some. And then lastly, my godfather, may he rest in peace, Richard Morazzini. We just lost him the other day, and we buried him today. We miss him, so that's all I have to say. But you know what? In the Christmas thing, in the spirit of Christmas, you know what? They're all up there looking down at us, and they're smiling and proud of all of you guys. So, you know, I will not spoil Christmas. I will enjoy that, and I will keep them in my memory with a smile on my face. Amen.
There you go.
That's it.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you. A couple things. Again, congratulations to Beth Reynolds and all the people who supported her. The stroll was such a big hit. So many vendors were so happy. And it was nice to see Sub-Zero open. They were, every time I walked by, I'm like, oh, and the lines were too long.
Getting longer.
265 ice creams, I believe.
265,
Believe so.
that's great. So congratulations to them.
Right place,
And to
right time.
everybody who participated. I know for all the businesses, it was really good. So what a great way to kick off our holiday season. A couple things coming up. So the Lions Christmas tree lot is still open, as you said. They're expecting it to be sold out probably
say this
sometime this
weekend.
weekend. So if you haven't gotten your tree yet, go grab one there. And as you know, it all comes back either to the community or Lions Eye Research. So great organization, and it's always great to go see people there. Tomorrow morning is our December senior breakfast. Also, at the Senior Center, there's all kinds of events. I think next week there's a senior party, there's something the following week. And the Senior Center is for people 60 and older. So if you want to go and meet some new people and have some fun, inexpensive events, it's always a fun place, and they're so welcoming. So check out their calendar. They have all kinds of fun stuff going on.
You guys are always welcome as a guest of me if you wanted to go, because I know you're all young puppies. So.
A couple of other things. So this Saturday, the 9th, is Illuminate Ashland, starting at 4:30. It starts at Anne Marie's Dance. I think you can go on Facebook, find out information about that. A lot of different performances all around town. I think it should be a nice day. Also, just so you know, there's a bunch of holiday events happening at Hopkinton Center for the Arts. They have a couple of concerts. They have some vocal concerts this weekend as well throughout. There's a comedy night, all kinds of stuff. So if you're looking to get into the holiday spirit, check out the Hopkinton Center for the Arts. And if you'd like a bigger Nutcracker at a different theater, the Nutcracker at the Norwood Theater. And I always like to plug that one because that's the one I work on. And that is December 15th, 16th, and 17th. Always, if you've never been to the Norwood Theater, it is a beautiful space to see a performance.
Oh.
It has been refurbished back to its original from the 1920s.
Wow.
Very nice.
Yeah, because at one point it was 2 movie theaters, and they took that all out. So that's a fun one. Let's see. And I think that's all I have, except to say, happy holidays to everybody. Be there for your friends, be there for your neighbors, be there for your family through this time of year, and may we all get safely into the new year.
Yep.
Thank you.
And that's what I got.
I have one more thing
Sure,
to add.
go ahead.
I forgot that Santa's going to be doing a town-wide run-through.
Parade, yeah.
Parade.
Oh, on Saturday.
On Saturday, starting
The
at
quiet
4:30.
sirens, right?
Yeah, we're going to be using quiet sirens. Never heard of a quiet siren, but it ought to be interesting.
That's good. Yeah.
So,
Well, that's good.
so keep look on Facebook, because I know the route
Great.
it has changed a little bit, so just keep an eye on that, and
Great, thank you, Joe.
just watch for the sirens, that's
And
all. It was-
So we're not currently scheduled to meet this month, so we won't meet till after the new year, so
Yeah.
Happy New Year to everyone. And Yolanda, your discussion, some of those events reminded me, Holliston on the Upper Charles Trail does a first night
Yep.
that culminates in that tunnel. I don't know if people, but I would you know, if you're available first night, it's a great kind of, and it shows the kind of potential you can do with a rail trail in terms of the things they do.
There's also a new one in Framingham for
Oh,
first night
sure.
on the
That makes sense. Yeah.
Charles.
Of course they,
What?
of course.
Yeah,
Of course. What's their trail? No.
Chris,
Yes.
was it the?
No, it's not on the Chris Walsh Trail. It's the,
Hey, if another town's successful with something, just trust Framingham's gonna take it.
but so Framingham has a first night event,
Yeah,
yeah, but
that's
the
interesting. Yeah, it's a good
Holliston Trail
idea.
event is a lot of fun,
It's-
and they
it's,
have that
exciting.
area down there, Blair Square now, is completely done,
Yes. Oh,
nice
that was
brick,
so
and they did
beautiful.
such a nice job there,
Oh,
so.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that
it's a
was
fun,
beautiful. Anyway.
fun event for first night.
So the only thing I wanted to, you know, I had a good, so the news is MBTA did post that the station is reopening December 23rd. I think many of us heard. And they are going to, I had a good talk with Mike Molly, the commuter rail coordinator, manager, and we will get a detailed kind of description of what happened. It's just that these kind of releases have to go through the governor's office, so there's kind of a kind of a delay from the time they post something and that we get these. So he's very aware of our interest. And I think they're going to schedule, I think Senator Spilka's office has requested some sort of ceremony, so people should plan on that. I don't know, but I imagine it would be that day, but I'm not sure. But we'll be hearing about that, I think. So, yeah, so that's nice. And I did have a good discussion with him. I'm sorry, yeah, what is the 23rd?
is a Saturday.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. So we'll see, I guess.
The other thing would be nice if they came and did a presentation on what they did. I don't know if we can request that.
No.
We can always request it.
And
but-
See if
they
they come and
especially
tell us what, you
virtual,
know,
I
or
think.
virtual, you
yeah.
know, let us know what improvements, what was
Yeah.
changed, and
I didn't think to ask him that, but he is going to give us a description. Was it,
what
what
was
color?
painted.
What was it painted? We didn't get asked for the colors. I did have a good discussion with him about, you know, safety in general, and they are taking that very seriously. Actually, are doing an investigation, we'll share a report, and both for along the tracks and at the Main Street crossing, apparently there's some improvements that they've already done, I guess, statewide. So they're very aware of the issues and are working on it. We should be hearing more. And kind of in line with that, I was just going to, you know, maybe think about if maybe have a meeting in January, February to kind of follow up on kind of community-wide safety and wellness issues, both kind of a broader range. And I discussed a little bit with Michael, and maybe Kristen would be here or something like that. Well, so more to come on that. I presume people are interested and think that's something that would be helpful, so useful. So, all right, so that's it for me. And with that, further ado, I'll turn it over to Brandy for our, what has now become a holiday tradition.
Yeah, so this started my first year on the
First
board.
This is your fourth one,
This fifth,
fifth.
yeah.
Is it
fifth
really?
one, yeah.
It's been- Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, my.
yeah, I think.
Time flies.
Yeah.
No, it is. You're
I
right.
guess we
Fifth.
can't call her a newbie anymore. I guess that's
No,
it, yeah.
no, Claudia's our new newbie. But this has become kind of like my favorite thing that I do is the last meeting we have, I just kind of, it's like a year in review in poem form. So, and it's gotten longer, so I apologize in advance.
It was a full year.
It was a lot of
It's a,
stuff.
it's a
lot of
busy
stuff
year.
happened.
So Ode to Ashland 2023. 2023 was a very busy year, making huge progress on projects we can cheer. Our public safety building with doors was finally complete, a beautiful facility for the best fire and police on the street. We celebrated the opening of the new Mendez School with amazing technology and a rooftop learning space that is so cool. Work continues on 126, sidewalks are almost done. Maybe getting closer to the end, fingers crossed, everyone. Downtown is really beautiful with the lampposts and the brick. And the painting of the lines the second time definitely did the trick. We look forward to the polls coming down next year and no more aggressive bees that we have to fear.
Oh,
Lots of work on the barn at the Valentine, all built with historically approved materials to make it shine. The finished Hall House was gorgeous with reclaimed elements of Warren's days, after much discussion about staying true to the plans, which caused some delays. The community center reopened after the repairs, happily no more water damage, even after a slight pipe leak scare. Our Board of Health held the successful RAM clinic over at Keefe, provided much-needed free medical services to those who needed relief. Our housing moratorium was nixed by the state, and planning for MBTA communities with minimal town impact would be great. The news came that the Economic Development Bill finally came through, will help fund new sidewalks, starting with Route 135, it's true. Hopkinton honored Ashland for 100 years since the marathon start line moved. Presented us with many marathon treasures. Unexpected, but we approve. The EPA is returning with funding for a second round to remove deep contamination underground. We started to work on the comprehensive plan with 29 committee members from throughout Ashland. Despite some challenges, Envision Ashland plans for our future, and we boarded a school bus with Ed and Michael for a 3-hour tour. After years of asking, the MBTA came to work on our sad train station with the goal of safe commuting, lighting, and our plentiful parking, which will be a celebration. We worked on our budget and are looking ahead. Tough choices are in our future. Support more funding or cuts in services instead. We said thank you to Steve for his 12 great years, and Claudia has made an impact right away. That is definitely clear. We reluctantly increased trash fees. We exited civil service, finally as planned, denied the Spencer statue to be built on community center land. We gave our graduating seniors scholarships and BAA grants too, celebrated marathon runners' retirements and the Goofy Gyros Girls Lego crew. Loved the Rangoli at Diwali, Fall Festa Corner Spot, came together at the Nyanza Healing Garden, a beautiful tribute that means a lot. Mini golf at the library, board office hours at the farmer's market, both were new. We were sad to miss Ashland Day, but with all the rain, what could we do? Holiday stroll and town hall trick or treat, both bigger than ever with downtown businesses joining in, which was so neat. Lots of good stuff coming our way. Starbucks with a mural. We shout hooray. Clover Road Taproom is coming to the old fire station. Congrats to Sub-Zero Ice Cream opening in its downtown location. The Upper Charles Trail gets a green light and a rumor about pickleball that is sure to excite. The Ashland Arboretum, AKA Cadillac Paint, will be a beautiful park this year with trails. We can't wait. The project at the Mill Building is gone for now, but we will see if it comes back in another form as a 40B. Town meeting said yes to the dog park. Whether there will ever be a tree bylaw is a question mark. For me personally, I completed my first year as chair. I now thoroughly appreciate all the work needed to be truly prepared. I love the work that I do with all of you and the amazing community we serve with everything that we do. Our town staff and volunteers are the best. I have such gratitude. Our town is so very blessed. And as we approach the end of this crazy year, I wish you and yours so much holiday cheer.
Very nice.
And we've done a lot this year.
Very nice.
Yeah, you could put all yours together, be like a history of the,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
That's true. That's
Probably
true.
Put them in some sort of volume or something.
This is why I don't have any decorations out for the holidays.
Oh, you can't use
Procrastination.
Just keeping you busy?
Yeah. So. But I love doing this. This is
Yeah,
like
it's
one of my
great. Yeah,
one of my
thank you.
favorite things that
How long
I.
does
Very
it
nice.
take you to do something
Yeah.
like this?
Like I take one night and I just like write down things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think to myself, how am I going to ever get this like into
Yeah, yeah.
any sort of
Yeah.
form? And then it just kind of starts coming
Now,
together.
is
and
it's
it's
pretty
Nice.
chronological, right? You try to, yeah.
I try to do it.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Or at least like put things together that make
Yeah.
sort of sense.
Yeah.
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 So,
That's
yeah.
nice. That's great.
So it's
Nice.
fun. And like I said, it's a good
Yeah.
good way to avoid doing all the other things that I
Yeah,
should be doing.
That's how you prepare for the meeting, you know.
But you know, it's been a really good year, and it's funny because when we were at the Festival of Lights on Sunday, I said this, and it's really, really true. It's like, it's just I'm seeing this weekend and how this weekend came together, especially like so much gratitude for our community, all the people that work really hard to bring all this stuff to our community, for all the volunteers, including all of us that spend so many hours, and people, I don't think people have any clue what it takes to kind of keep all of this together. And it's just, I'm walking through downtown on Saturday, I'm like, this is why we do this.
Yep.
This is why this is all worth it.
Yeah.
Because these people, this community is all just, it's love.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah.
that's my take, so.
Yeah, we're not doing it for the salary, that's for sure.
No, we're not.
And-
Not even the pension? I just found out there's no pension. Damn.
Yeah, increase it 100%.
Thank you. That's great.
You know,
No,
we would be remiss if we didn't thank two people on the far right of me.
No, that's true. This is our end-of-year meeting. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for everything that you've done for all of us. Your leadership and your guidance has definitely made Ashland a much better place this year again, and will continue as we keep the HMS Ashland going straight forward and doing the things that needs to get done.
It was a
Yeah.
revolution, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, thank you both.
Yeah.
Well said, Joe.
Yeah.
Yes, very well said.
Very Thank
Good,
you.
okay.
So, happy holidays, everybody, and Happy New Year.
Happy Hanukkah.
What's that? Oh, Claudia. Oh, she's applauding. Thank you,
Yeah, she was just-
Claudia. Hope everything's
We're,
well.
we're sorry you can't be here with us.
Thoughts and prayers, kiddo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see everyone first meeting
Yeah,
of January,
which is-
January 3rd.
Is it January 3rd? Okay.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you all. So that's a good night from the Ashland Select Board meeting, and happy holidays and
Happy
Happy New
holidays.
Year.
Happy holidays to you all.
Motion to
So,
adjourn.
oh, I guess we should do
Second.
that. Yes. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye, thank you.
We
Happy
are
holidays,
adjourned.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Ho,
everyone.
ho, ho, merry, merry.